Hey guys, Doug the Michigan Piper here. Just want to give you an update on the vent fan. I did look up the statistics on the or statistics. I guess I'm not sure what you say, but it does have the three settings, and the settings are 86 CFM, 100 CFM, and 125. Now, supposedly in this room, 86 or 70 or 77 is supposed to cut it. I'm noticing on the low, which is what I have it on right now, it's not quite enough to keep up. I usually keep it on high if my camera's not rolling, but this time just for you guys to see. Right, I wanted to get you to see the noise levels. In the last video, I had both a fan and my air purifier going. Now I have just the fan on low. Now keep in mind this is an inline fan, so you can put this fan further down. You don't have to have it. I have it sitting right here. I put a cover on it and a box on it. But you don't have to have it sitting right next to the vent. So that would help quiet it if you're thinking about using one of these. If you put it further down the line, it's going to make it much more quiet, I guess is the way to say it. As far as housekeeping goes today, I got my Dr. Gravo Savoy. In it, I've got some Lane Limited RLP6. And I just go to that every once in a while. I got my last bowl of Colt Blood Red Moon in the jar. I need to try to find some of that, so if you got suggestions, let me know. That one seems to punch through as far as taste goes when I'm having problems. You guys have heard me talk about that before. So I need to get some more of that before. I've heard rumors that they're going to do away with it. So then my next one that I heard from Hobbit and Piper is, I think it's Peter Stokeby's 24 Nugget or Nugget 24. I want to try that one. Sounds like it's pretty good. And that's actually the one, he's got a whole video on that and how that was the one that they smoked on the Lord of the Rings set. So much so they came back and got some more of it because they liked it so much. So, that'll be my next branch out, if you will. I've kind of got my staples now. Boswell Bear Blend is one of my staples. I really like that. And I've got some Captain Black up there, but it's okay. It's good. It's just not as good as some of the others for me. But I've got to start getting to work. This is my third night in a row, which is nothing wrong with that. With the family gone, doing their own thing with the haunted house, and I volunteered with the haunted house. We got a huge haunted house here. You might have heard me talk about it before. More Sam Adams Oktoberfest, by the way. In Niles, Michigan. It's called the Niles Scream Park, and they call it that because it's a huge area, and there's several haunted houses in it. I worked it for a while. Worked it for a charity for our son's scout troop. For every hour that you volunteered, you got some money for your charity. So they don't flat out pay people. Well, they do now. They've just started a new program, but I did that up until last year, and then with the job change and everything else, I told them I couldn't help anymore. But it was fun. There's few things more fun than scaring the crap out of people, literally, and I mean literally. It's you see all kinds of stuff. On a good night, they'll do about 3,000 people. In the one area that I ran for it, I had a blast with, had some good people I was working with, and you get these people through there that everything from people who have no reactions at all to people who are just, you wonder why they're there because they can't function. They're so scared. And one, I could sit here and tell you stories all night long, but one in particular, the room that I was in was it's called the padded room. And the idea behind the room was, and I won't get in trouble for this, but the idea behind the room was as the lights, we put people in this room, it looks like, from Crazy Place or whatever. But as the lights go off, they go on and off like 3 or 4 times. And there's a lot of loud, eerie, creepy, disturbing music going on. The lights will go out and it gets pitch black. You can't see a thing. Well, as an actor in the room, of course, I'm all duded up. I'd be across the room from them. So I'm already creeping them out when they walk in because I just don't look right. And they know something's going to happen. Well, the lights go out. What they don't know is as soon as the lights go out, I walk across the room and get in their face. So when the lights come back on, I am right in front of them. And so I start chasing people around basically. And it was the funnest room to work. We just absolutely had a blast with it. Even people that had been in there before knew what was coming, would still freak out. It was just a fun time. And on one particular case, I had a group of young ladies, and I got through. And by the way, I'm sorry if you hear my dog, but she wants to be with me right now, and I don't want to have to deal with her. So she's upstairs and she's barking because she doesn't know where I'm at. But anyway, so I had a group of young ladies in there, and it was typical, they're freaking out and running around the room, and I'm chasing them, and they don't know where I'm going to pop up next. But we get done, and they all go out of the room, and except for one, and she's leaning back against the wall, kind of half squatted, and staring at the ground. And I looked at her, and you're trying not to break character because they always preach to you, don't break character, don't break character. And so I kind of motioned to her that, hey, the exit's this way. And she didn't even look up. She's staring at the ground, and she goes, I have to pee. And I have to pee now. So I immediately broke character because I had to, because you can't laugh in character. And guided her. She didn't care about her group. She didn't care about nobody else. I had to guide her in through the office area so she could go in and use the bathroom. But we've had all kinds there, guys. They get what they call, if you're in the area or you're close to Niles, Michigan, it's well worth the money to go and the time to go. It is just, if you're into that thing, not everybody is. I don't like to go to haunted houses. I'll tell you that right now. I'll go every once in a while because my family goes, but for the most part, it doesn't really thrill me. But it's super fun to work in them. Just story after story, I can tell you. And yes, I've been smacked, I've been hit, punched. That's kind of it. That stuff's coming. People do it. I'd say 90% of the time it's involuntary, and you just learn to stay out of the area of the swing. Don't get me wrong, they don't condone it, but people will and have gotten thrown out for purposely throwing a punch. But when somebody does it, just by and accidentally hitting you. But man, it's just the hardest part when I started was just not laughing, just keeping a straight face when you're scaring somebody. I came up behind one lady, and she was like the third one back in the group. And what I didn't know was her husband was behind her. Now this guy is like 6'4", and looks like he just walked off the Bears defense. And so they come through. And the area that I was scaring at, the idea was I had to scare in front of them, and I'd push a button. They didn't see me back in this closet, and I'd scare them back into me, and then I'm right behind them. Well, she jumped back, so her back's to me because I hit this button. Her back's to me. I get up right in her ear, and I whisper in her ear, and I think I said something effective, look alive or something like that, and she screamed, blood-curdling scream, turned around and commenced to cussing me out worse than I've ever been cussed out in my life. And the last thing she said is, "Why would you do that?" And of course, I'm thinking to myself, because it's a haunted house and you paid me to. So, thinking that's the end of it, I'm waiting for them to walk out, and her husband walks up, stands over the top of me. One of those things where you're not paying attention and all of a sudden you look over and you're like, and I'm like, this dude is going to knock me out. Leans over, looks right at me and says, you scared the shit out of her. Turned and walked out. Pretty sure he was appreciative of it. After hearing the way she talked to me, I kind of get it. So, but yeah, it was fun. But I had my fun, and I moved on now. But if you like that kind of thing, absolutely check them out. Even go online if you don't. Just check them out, and see what they got. But they just keep changing every year, and they get bigger and bigger, and it's pretty cool. So, you guys don't waste any more of your time. I just figured the main reason I wanted to do the video was tell you about the fan and let you hear it without the air purifier running, and let you know it's on low. I think it's keeping up, but not by, I wouldn't want to be really chooching on this, but pretty happy with it. So guys, I hope you're all doing well. Until next time, you take care.